You probably already heard about premium products, right? Like that kind of gourmet products. Like people say, oh, this is a premium product. It's so special. It's so good that you must pay double price for that. So, but it's not actually a true story when you buy the product and then when you try that product and then you realize that is not an actually premium product. I'm talking about premium product because today is the day to reveal one special filament called DynaLabs that is they actually put their products on the market as a premium product, and then I've been testing that for almost eight weeks now, and I want to talk to you about this filament because it's a very, very special filament. Doesn't matter what kind of printer you are using. And then this is what makes a filament a premium filament for me, at least for me, because when you have a premium filament that is not compatible with many different printers, you cannot actually call that a premium filament, right? So, and today I have one more special news for you. Today is the day to introduce you to the moisture analyzer. This is a special equipment used by the plastic industries, food industries. A lot of different kind of companies use this kind of equipment to analyze the amount of humidity you have on each kind of product. It doesn't matter if it's a food, plastic, or any other material that it's capable of absorbing humidity. And then this will be the first filament reveal. I will be using this moisture analyzer to estimate how much humidity this filament can absorb and how this can influence on the usability of this product. Okay, so I'm talking too much. I'm giving too much spoilers before the real video. Okay, the studio is ready. Let's go to the main camera and start talking about the filament of DynaLabs. Okay, so be ready and let's invent.
Welcome, inventors, and today we will talk about DynaLabs Filament. That is a special filament they call premium, and actually it is a premium filament. It's a very, very special filament with different colors, and I have here two different product lines. That it's actually PLA. Both lines are PLA, but one is the Ingeo PLA that is classified as a basic PLA from DynaLabs, but it's actually a premium anyway. And the other one is the Boutique. The Boutique PLA, it's a special PLA with some kind of additives that gives a matte finishing of that for that filament. And they have a special additive to make the filament to expand after being printed, to basically cover the printing lines and giving a better appearance, making it possible to print using larger lines like 0.2 millimeters, and giving the piece the appearance of being printed using 0.1 or even a smaller layer high. Okay, so before I start talking about the filament itself, I have to say something. Just remember that I'm not receiving any kind of payment or sponsorship to talk about the filaments here on the channel. The brand send me the filaments, and then I run extensive tests and try the product with different scenarios and situations to make sure that I'm recommending the right product. Everybody knows that There is no perfect product on the market, and this is not different. The DynaLabs filaments are very good, and I can say this is a premium filament, but it's not perfect. So on this video, I will talk to you about the problems I faced when I was testing this filament on different scenarios and different printers, and I will talk to you how to work around on those problems so then you can have a better experience using the DynaLabs filaments. So I've tested this filament using different printers. So the first one is the Bambu Lab X1 Carbon. That is an awesome printer that you basically doesn't have to make any kind of fine tuning when you're using DynaLabs filaments or with the X1 Carbon. I didn't test with A1 and A1 Mini and P1P, but basically the Bambu Lab printers are the same between different models. I mean, talking about the quality and the compatibility, okay? So I believe that you will have no problem using DynaLabs filaments with any kind of Bambu Lab. Just put there, ask the Bambu Lab to make the automatic calibration, and you are on good hands, okay? So the other printer I've tested was the FlashForge Adventure 5M Pro. That is actually the same when you try to measure the results using different kind of filaments. I've tested a lot of different filaments between Bambu Lab and FlashForge, and everything you put on Bambu Lab printers, you can put on FlashForge without having to make any kind of fine tuning. It's a awesome printer with a very, very affordable price. And the only difference here between X1 Carbon and FlashForge 5M Pro is the fact that this printer doesn't have any kind of multicolor device to print multicolor parts like this one, okay? But the quality and speed and everything else is the same, so you will have no problem using DynaLabs filaments. Okay, stop here, okay. You have no problem using DynaLabs filaments with Bambu Lab or FlashForge, okay? So you have the same results. The only consideration is about Creality printers, always. Especially because now we have two different groups of Creality printers in the same models, basically. Okay, so when we talk about Creality K1 and K1C, we have a special difference here beyond the pulleys and other things, but the extruder and the nozzle. The nozzle on K1C is the unicorn nozzle, that it's a longer nozzle that theoretically will give you more stability when you are heating the filament and passing through that new nozzle. And the K1 still uses the shorter nozzle. It's not bad. Actually, I have some surprises for you using the K1, because I've printed on K1, and I'm not talking about K1C, okay? K1 with the old nozzle model. I've printed 3 different branches to test using the default profile for filaments, for PLA filament on FlashForge, K1, and Bambu. So the problem is, when I was taking those parts, bringing to the studio to do this video, I put the 3 benches in the same box, and then I realized that I forgot to write on the bottom where this bench was printed. And I can't honestly say the difference between the 3 benches because they are perfectly good and well printed. So this shows how premium this filament is, because you can use the default filament profile and print on a K1 without any problem, even using the old nozzle, okay? So let's talk a little bit about the colors here. As I said, we have 2 different product lines. One is the Ingeo PLA and the other one is the Boutique PLA. So let's start with the Ingeo. I've already used this filament on when I was testing and unboxing the X1 Carbon here. And this yellow, this fluor yellow, it's amazing. I love this color. And I'm not actually multicolor lover, because before I have the X1 Carbon on my hands to start testing, I honestly consider multicolor just a fancy resource to have on a 3D printer. But after having this printer on my hands, I have to confess that I'm getting addicted to print multicolor models. Okay, so this is the Stone Dragon, where I used the yellow fluor and this blue called cobalt blue, and we have the eyes with red Bordeaux. Okay, so I have the three colors here in one piece, and as you can see, this filament has an excellent dimension of fidelity. Okay, so good precision. So here I have another cobalt blue printing fidgets, and what is interesting about this model is that I've printed the yellow part on a K1 Max and the blue part on the Flash Forge. So, and it perfectly fits each other without any problem, and giving a very, very beautiful piece. Then we have our apple green. Here we have the small Yoda, the baby Yoda, and it's a very, very beautiful apple green. Then here we have a piece printed fully with the red Bordeaux. Very, very good finishing of this filament. And then here we have the sapphire blue. One more time, this filament has an excellent dimension fidelity, where you can print on place and you have your model well printed, including fidgets, that especially if you have a farm, then you want to print a lot of different models at the same time, and you don't want to keep cleaning up and treating the parts before you can send to your customer. This is a perfect filament for that kind of application, because you can print and take from the printer and start using without any kind of finishing need. Okay, so I have something to talk about the green. Okay, the apple green. So stay tuned. I have something to talk about this. So this one is the sky cream. That is actually a cyan blue. Okay, so in English they call sky green. This is a boutique color. It actually gives a kind of metallic finishing. Looks like a metallic, but it's not a metallic filament. It's just a very, very beautiful color. So here I have the aviator green. Then I printed hook boost. So I will leave at the description the link for the Eastman, that it's the modeler who created this boost, and he has a lot of different kind of models and many others boosts you can buy and print. So I will leave the link at the description, so you can buy this parts directly from Eastman. Okay. Then the last one, and not less important, I have the strawberry color, that in Portuguese and Spanish they call frutilia, and it's a very, very beautiful pink color. Okay, so let's talk about the problems I faced when I was printing the DynaLabs filament. The only problem I had was related to the green colors. The apple green on Ingeo line and the aviator green on the boutique line. Let's start with the apple green, okay? So I try to print using the default configuration. And when I've used the default configuration, I had this kind of results, like opaque parts, and other are shiny. And then I had to calibrate the printer to increase the temperature so I can have a better finishing and uniform results. So this was printed using the default, and this was printed using the adjusted fine-tuned configuration. Okay, so this was the only problem. The default configuration for the most printers to print PLA is 230 degrees Celsius. So for the apple green, I had to increase that to 250 degrees Celsius. So then I can have on every single print the same results. So this is not a problem, actually. It's just a matter of giving that small and smart touch on your printer profile. On the aviator green, I had something unexpected, because when I tried to print using the default configuration, I had the opposite result comparing to the apple green, because here I have some parts of the model with a kind of a filament burning effect. I will try to show you on the camera. So you can see right here, right at the middle of the cabin, you can see an effect that looks like a burning filament. This happens in two situations when I'm printing. The first one is when I try to print using a too high temperature, and the other one is when I have humidity, when I have a high moisture height on the filament. And this is not the case, because when I'm turn down the temperature to 215, then I have a perfect print compared to the default temperature. So I discard the humidity on this model, because this filament have been stored inside the vacuum bag with silica gel before I start testing. So then I discard the possibility of humidity. Even like that, I ran some humidity tests. Yes, let me show you this. This beautiful thing here is a moisture analyzer. Look at this. So this is a special equipment. I will dedicate a full video here on the channel to talk about this, because this machine was sent to us by Toledo. That is a company that operates in Brazil for decades, and they are specialized on measurement equipment like scales and moisture analyzers and a lot of other industrial equipment that you can buy and use in your industry. So you can use this kind of moisture analyzer on food industries, plastic, and even on agriculture, okay? So I've run some tests to analyze the range of tolerance to humidity from the DynaLabs filaments. The test is very, very simple. I have two samples. One is the dry sample that I put inside a vacuum bag with silica gel for 24 hours to make sure that I extract the most humidity from the filament as possible, and see if the filament is capable of releasing all that humidity. Because I have some tests I ran here where the filament, it's not even capable of releasing the humidity in 24 hours. Some kind of filaments or some type of filaments needs 3 days, 4 days, even more to release all the humidity. And when they are exposed, they can absorb that humidity very, very quickly. So I will talk all about all this kind of filaments very, very soon here. So one of the sample is the dry sample. It's my control sample. And the other one is stored inside a bag with water and stays there for 24 hours. The Ingeo line shows an absorption of 0.4% of humidity. This is not bad. This is actually the average of PLA filament having additives. Okay, I'm not talking about pure PLA. Pure PLA, it has a very, very low moisture absorption rate. But when we talk about the 3D printing PLA, we have additives that makes these filaments special for 3D printing, make those filaments change the state quicker, and gives the finishing of matte finishing or shining finishing and things like that. So it's normal to have something about 0.3% of moisture absorption on PLAs. And I'm talking about the average of the market, okay? So I ran tests here that cross the margin of 1% of moisture absorption. So I will talk about this when I talk about the moisture analyzer. So stay tuned and remember to check your subscription here. So check if you're subscribed and hit the bell to make sure you will receive the notification when we release the new video here on the channel. So let's talk about the humidity. Okay, the Ingeo sample shows 0.4%. What it's good, because considering you live in a place where the average relative humidity in the air, it's about 60%, 70%, you will have the absorption rate on this filament in about 0.3, 0.28 or something like that, what shows a very good resistance against moisture, and even can provide you the possibility of not having to put those filaments inside bags with silica gel. So for the Boutique filament, we had the max absorption rate on 0.66%. What probably is related to the characteristics of this filament, because it has that special additive that makes the layers to expand and you have a better finishing. And if you put your hand on the filament, you can feel that this filament is not so smooth like the Ingeo. It has a kind of abrasive surface. So probably is because of that this filament, it's kind of less tolerant to moisture absorption. But I have to say that during the tests, we had some days here with the average air humidity between 80 and 95%. One day we hit 98% of humidity. Yeah, the walls were crying. Yeah. And even during those days, we had no problem using the Boutique out of the bag, especially because some of those filaments have been out of the bag for 3 or 4 days, because we are putting on one printer, send a print, then when finished, we took that, put on another one, and that was a mess because we were running a lot of tests and calibrations and things like that. So we had these filaments out of the bag for 3 or 4 days, and we had no problem with humidity. It's a very, very good and consistent filament, especially when we talk about the results. You can print, and then you can have what you are expecting. So I know some people have been asking right now, okay, but this is DynaLabs is a Brazilian filament or a worldwide filament where I can buy this filament. So yeah, this is a Brazilian filament for now. The factory of this filament, it's actually on Argentina. It's the same factory that produces filaments for great brands on the market that I can't say because I have an NDA, so I can't say the brands, but think about good and great brands that produce filaments for engineering, for, like industrial grade. Okay, so this filament came from the same factory. And if you are interested on this filament and maybe you have that kind of entrepreneur heart, and then you want to import this filament to your country, you can get in contact with us through Instagram or even through our website on inventorsgarage.store, and tell us, Wesley, I'm from this country and I want to import DynaLabs filaments. Could you please put me in contact with the DynaLab owner? Then we can negotiate and see how we can make this happen. So just get in contact, and then I will introduce you the people from DynaLabs, and then you can try to have DynaLab filaments in your country and resell that and maybe turn into a business. Okay, so if you are interested, get in contact, and then let's talk about having DynaLabs in your country. Okay, so this is all I have to say about DynaLabs filaments. I hope you enjoyed this video, and I want to talk more information about moisture analyzing, and keep tuning on this channel because we have a lot of things to talk about. And I still have the X1 carbon review to make. I have the K1C review to make. So we have a lot of content to talk here. So remember to check your subscription and hit the bell and hit the thumbs up to help the channel. Thank you very much for watching to here, and see you on the next video. And always remember, let's keep inventing.